Potential issues with exorcism. Not an exhaustive compendium, but a number of points taken from first-hand experience. A lot of people think exorcism can be a great and wonderful thing. It's like they've been drawn in by what they see in the movies or on TV. I'm here to tell you firsthand that there's not a whole lot wonderful about it. If you're considering performing an exorcism or becoming an exorcist, then I want you to read this section and take it very seriously. I speak as a battle-scarred veteran and can tell you most entities are weak and easily evicted from wherever they're found. Either that, or I have an extraordinary gift for this sort of thing. I've got no idea one way or the other. What I do know is that if you're planning on doing an exorcism, you need to come prepared. Even if most entities are weak, you absolutely cannot go in there with the sense of overconfidence. Confidence is a key to success. Overconfidence is a swift ticket to failure, especially if the entity you face is not a weakling. When you address the spirit, they may laugh, they may hide, they may be silent, or they may try to taunt you. But know this, in all cases, they will attempt to read your mind in hopes of finding a way to retaliate. One way to block a spirit from reading your mind is to say the Ave Maria in your head over and over again. It's a short prayer that's easily memorized and can be mentally repeated over and over without interrupting your thoughts or your concentration. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tua mulieribus, benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. You can do it in English, but make sure to learn it in Latin. Pronounce it in church Latin, because for some reason it irritates the entities even more. I don't know why. I learned a long time ago, however, that it works. If the spirit finds a way to retaliate, it can be anything from minor inconveniences to car accidents to finding yourself losing your home and or your job. They generally try to scan your life and find the weakest possible point, the point most vulnerable to attack. If you're financially struggling and in real risk of losing your home or your apartment, that can become a point of attack. If your car has a tie rod on its way out, or a transmission gasket a hair's breadth away from leaking, that becomes a point of attack. If you have an inordinate tendency for sexual desire, that can become a point of attack. If you have a naturally closed-minded or bigoted mentality, that likewise becomes a point of attack. They will inconvenience you if they can, ruin your life if they can, or outright manipulate you if they can. If you have any of these weaknesses, you probably should not attempt to perform an exorcism. Doubly so if you have severe mental illness and refuse to take medication. If they find they can't get to you directly, then they'll try to work through those around you. Relationships may grow bitter. Friendships may grow cold. Your supervisors at work may become a little frosty. In essence, everyone you know becomes a potential weakness, a potential vulnerability, and a potential liability. You need to examine your relationships with people before you try an exorcism. You need to figure out who's weak-minded, who's mentally imbalanced, who's most vulnerable, and whether these relationships can't afford to be sabotaged. You don't want to mess up things with your supervisor at work, for example, so maybe that's a relationship that can't afford to be sabotaged. Think about your family, your friends, and everybody you actually care about. This also includes your dogs and your cats. They may try to work through animals, too. So if you have liabilities in this department, it doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't go forward with the exorcism. What it does mean is that you should be aware of any possible directions for counterattack and have some kind of a strategy at hand. Now, there are times where you may be facing a strong spirit and getting the upper hand. At such a point, the spirit may try to offer you a deal. Don't take it, it's a trap. Such deals need to be navigated with extreme precision. Otherwise, the spirit will find some loophole and cheat you out of what you asked for. Or maybe even put what you asked for in your face so that you may have it temporarily long enough to lull you into saying, okay, you satisfied your part of the deal, you can have your part now. So again, it's a trap waiting to happen. There will be other times when you defeat the spirit, only to see it turn friendly and maybe even appear years later to advise you on some or other matter. This is a highly specialized matter, and I can't advise this on a one-size-fits-all basis. In some cases, the spirit is showing honest respect for you. Just like if you beat up the bully on the playground, sometimes the bully comes back and has some respect for you and may even become friendly. Well, in other cases, not so much. In other cases, the spirit might just be looking for revenge. So, at least in your beginning years, I can only suggest rejecting or ignoring such attempts of friendship. Now, once you get a feel for how the spirit realm works, and only so much of this can be taught, most of it has to be learned by experience. That's when you use your judgment and come to your own decisions on a case-by-case basis. Now, I would urge extreme caution and be very careful when giving the benefit of the doubt to any entity. In fact, don't give that benefit at all. Verify, verify, verify. Now, in the past, I once wrote a long treatise on why one does not have to be a priest in order to perform an exorcism. However, it should be obvious why leaving exorcism to the priesthood may be a good idea. It's one thing to have the power to do an exorcism. It's one thing to have the power to remove spirits from an infested location or person. But it's another thing to be in a position of freedom from troubles into which it can get you. Because if you don't have that freedom, in terms of freedom from necessary connections, freedom from certain types of relationships, and so on, if you don't have that level of freedom, there is the chance that it will come back to bite you in the ass. Not necessarily a good thing. You can learn to navigate it, but when you're starting out, be very careful and be sure to look before you leap, and be sure to pay very close attention to your situation and all the ramifications to which it can lead you. Okay, that's all for this video. May God bless, and I'll see you next time.